I looked around, overwhelmed by the grand bed, the silk curtains, and the chandelier that hung from the ceiling. It was bigger than the entire room I had lived in at my stepmother's house. I turned to him, my voice uncertain. "DK, are you sure about me?" He frowned. "Why would you ask that?" I swallowed hard. "Your mother, Amanda. They don't want me here. And maybe they are right. Maybe I don't belong in this world." He stepped closer, gently cupping my face in his hands. "Adanna, listen to me. You belong with me. I don't care about wealth or background. I care about you." His words sent warmth through my chest, but deep down, I knew it wasn't going to be that simple. Chief Dike sighed and ran a hand through his head. "I will handle my mother. And for Amanda," his jaw tightened. "She will try to make things difficult for you, but you have to be strong." I nodded, even though I wasn't sure how strong I could be. As soon as he left the room, I collapsed onto the soft bed. I should have felt relieved, safe, but instead, my mind was filled with doubt. Just as I was about to fall asleep, I heard voices outside my door. Curious, I quietly got up and pressed my ear against the wooden surface. "She won't last here." Amanda's voice was sharp and filled with amusement. Chief Dike's mother sighed. "I don't understand what spell she put on my son. He has always been so wise, yet he brings home this." Amanda let out a light laugh. "Don't worry, mother. She won't be here for long." I held my breath, my heart pounding. Chief Dike's mother hesitated. "What are you planning?" Amanda's voice lowered, but I caught her chilling words. "I will make sure she runs away on her own. And when she does, Dike will have no choice but to marry me." Terror gripped my chest. I backed away from the door, my hands shaking. They were just going to make my life difficult. They were going to destroy me. And if I wasn't careful, I might lose Chief Dike forever. I stepped away from the door, my heart racing. They were planning to destroy me. Amanda's words kept echoing in my head. She won't be here for long. I clenched my fist. No, I wasn't going to let them win. I had already survived Madame Clara's cruelty. I wasn't going to break now. But what could I do? I barely knew anything about this world. The luxurious halls, the expensive dinners, the silent battles fought with words and glances. None of it was familiar to me. I needed to be stronger. I needed to fight. The next morning, the sun was barely up when I heard a knock on my door. I quickly sat up. "Come in." The door opened and a maid entered, bowing slightly. "Madam, Chief Dike's mother has requested your presence for breakfast." My stomach twisted. This wasn't just breakfast. This was another test. I nodded. "I'll be there." After quickly freshening up, I made my way to the grand dining hall. My simple Ankara dress felt out of place against the rich. Chief Dike wasn't there, just his mother and Amanda. I swallowed hard. Here we go. "Good morning, ma," I greeted politely. Chief Dike's mother barely looked at me. "Sit." I obeyed, keeping my hands folded in my lap. Amanda smirked as she sipped her tea. You must be adjusting to the mansion life, Adanna. It must feel overwhelming. I met her gaze. I am grateful for everything. Chief Dike's mother placed her teacup down. Amanda has agreed to help you adjust. I blinked. Help me? Amanda smiled, widened. Yes, dear. I will teach you how to be a proper wife for a man of DK status. My skin blinked. This wasn't a kindness. It was a trap. Chief DK's mother nodded. You will listen to Amanda. She knows this life better than you ever will. I gritted my teeth. I appreciate the offer. But Amanda interrupted, leaning forward. It's not an offer, darling. It's a necessity. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. I suddenly realized what they were doing. They wanted to break me, to humiliate me. If I made mistakes, they would use them against me. If I refused to learn, they would call me unworthy. They had set a trap, and I had no choice but to walk into it. I sat at the dining table, my fingers gripping the napkin in my lap. Amanda sipped her tea delicately, her eyes glinting with amusement. Chief Dike's mother sat at the head of the table, her posture stiff, her expression unreadable. You will listen to Amanda, she repeated, her voice like cold steel. I forced a polite smile. I appreciate the offer, ma, but I can learn on my own. Amanda chuckled, setting her cup down. Oh, sweetheart, this isn't something you can learn on your own. High society has rules. She leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. One mistake, Adanna, and the world will laugh at you. You will humiliate yourself, and Dike will see that you are not the woman for him. My stomach twisted, but I kept my face neutral. This was their plan. They wanted to overwhelm me, to make me feel like I didn't belong. If I doubted myself, it would only be easier for them to push me out. Chief Dike's mother cleared her throat. You will begin today. I hesitated. Begin what? Amanda smiled, widened. Oh, don't worry, darling. I have everything planned. Something in her voice sent a chill down my spine. Later that day, Amanda led me to a massive walk-in closet filled with designer clothes, heels, and accessories that looks like they belong in a magazine. She folded her arms. Lesson 1. Appearance is everything. She walked over to a mannequin wearing a tight, shimmering gown. Put this on. I looked at the dress and frowned. It's revealing. She rolled her eyes. We are not in the village, Adanna. This is how real women dress. I swallowed my discomfort and reached for the gown. I didn't want to give them the satisfaction of seeing me struggle. But as I put it on and stepped in front of the mirror, I barely recognized myself. The dress hugged my body too tightly. The heels Amanda handed me were too high, making it almost impossible to walk. I stumbled slightly and Amanda let out a fake gasp. Oh no, you don't know how to walk in heels? I lifted my chin. I will learn. She smirked. We will see. For the next hour, she made me practice walking up and down the long hallway. Every time I wobbled, she would sigh dramatically. You will embarrass Dike at the next event, she said casually. I said nothing, but deep down, the doubt started creeping in. I wasn't like them. I wasn't polished, trained, or sophisticated. But I refused to let them see me break. That evening, when Chief DK returned, I was exhausted. I had spent the entire day under Amanda's sharp gaze, listening to her mockery disguised as advice. He found me sitting by the large window, my shoes abandoned beside me. Adanna, he sat next to me, concern in his eyes. Are you okay? I forced a smile, just adjusting. He frowned. I know my mother and Amanda can be difficult. If they are making you uncomfortable, I will put a stop to it. I shook my head. No, I need to learn. I need to prove that I can fit into this world. Chief Dike sighed. You don't have to prove anything to them. I turned to him, my heart aching. But I have to prove it to myself. He studied me for a long moment, then gently took my hand. No matter what, Adanna, you are enough. His words warmed my heart. But deep down, I knew this battle was just beginning. Amanda and Chief Dike's mother were watching, waiting, hoping that I would fail, and I could not afford to lose. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the unfamiliar gown, trying to ignore Amanda's smirk behind me. The fabric felt too tight, the heels too high, the weight of expectation too heavy on my shoulder. Amanda walked up, placing a mannequin hand on my shoulder. You know, Adanna, she said sweetly, this world isn't for everyone. I met her gaze through the mirror, refusing to let her words break me. She leaned in slightly, her voice barely above a whisper. Sooner or later, Dike will realize you're not cut out for this. I took a deep breath, squared my shoulder, and turned to face her. Then I will prove him right, or I will prove you wrong. Her smirk fluttered just slightly before she tossed her hair back and laughed. Oh, this is going to be fun. Later that night, I sat by the balcony, staring out into the night sky. The wind was cool against my skin, but my mind was restless. Would I ever truly belong in this world? A deep voice broke through my thoughts. You look lost. I turned to see Chief Dike standing there watching me with concern. I sighed. It's just a lot. He sat beside me, his presence calming. I never wanted you to change, Adanna. I shook my head. I'm not trying to change. I don't want to be a woman you regret choosing. He reached for my hand, squeezing it gently. The only thing I will regret is losing you. My heart skipped a beat. Before I could respond, the door behind us cracked open. Amanda. She stepped into the balcony, her red sleek robe flowing behind her like a queen making an entrance. Oh, I didn't realize you two were having a moment, she said innocently. Dike frowned. What do you want, Amanda? She ported, so cold. I just wanted to check on Adanna. After all, she had such a long day. I stood up. I'm fine. She smiled. Are you? Because tomorrow, you'll be accompanying Dike to a high-class charity event. You'll be surrounded by dignitaries, politicians, and business tycoons. My stomach twisted. I had barely survived today, and now I was supposed to face an entire room of people like Amanda. She took a step closer. Don't embarrass yourself, darling. Chief Dike stood as well, his jaw tight. She'll be fine. Amanda raised an eyebrow. Will she? She turns to me, her smile sharp. This is your first real test, Adanna. If you fail, let's just say the world will see exactly why you don't belong here. She walked away, her laughter trailing behind her. I clenched my fist. Tomorrow will be my first step into their world, and I couldn't afford to fail. The grand ballroom shimmering with golden chandeliers and soft classic music. Guests in expensive outfits moved elegantly, sipping from their crystal glasses, their laughter polite and rehearsed. I stood at the entrance, my heart pounding. This was it, my first real test in Chief DK's world. His hand rested on the small of my back, reassuring. You look stunning, Adanna, he whispered. I had spent hours being dressed, my gown a rich emerald green, my hair styled in an elegant bun. But even in all this glamour, I still felt like an imposter. Amanda appeared at the top of the staircase, her fitted black gown hanging her cuffs perfectly. She walked towards us, her smile as sharp as ever. Ah, Adanna, she said smoothly. You actually cleaned up decently. I ignored her jab. Tonight, I couldn't afford to let her get to me. Chief DK's mother approached then, her expression unreadable. The guest will be watching you closely, she said, her voice low. One mistake, and you'll be the night entertainment. I swallowed hard. Amanda smirked. Just follow my lead, darling. I know this world better than you ever will. Then, without waiting, she stood into the crowd, effortlessly slipping into conversation with a senator's wife. I squared my shoulders. No, I wasn't going to let her intimidate me. Chief DK took my hand. Ignore them, Adanna. Just be yourself. Easier said than done. The first few conversations were a blue. I smiled, nodded, answered politely. But I could feel the eyes on me, the silent judgment, the whisper behind painted lips. Then, as I reached for my drink, the unexpected happened. A woman accidentally bumped into me, sending my glass crashing to the floor. Gasps echoed. Amanda's laugh was soft but victorious. I felt my breath hushed. My first mistake. Chief DK's mother sighed, so glumpsy. She muttered under her breath. I bent down quickly, trying to clean up. But a waiter was already on it. My hands trembled as I straightened up. Amanda stepped closer, whispering in my ear, You are making this too easy, darling. I forced a smile. No, I wouldn't let them break me. Taking a deep breath, I turned to Chief DK. Would you like to dance? Surprise flickered in his eyes. But then he smiled. Of course. The musician started a slow tune as we stepped onto the dance floor. His arms wrapped around me. His warmth grounded me. You are doing great, he murmured. But as I looked over his shoulder, I met Amanda's gaze. She wasn't smiling anymore. She had expected me to run, to break down. Instead, I was still standing. This wasn't just about proving myself. This was war, and I was ready. As Chief DK and I moved across the dance floor, I could feel the weight of every stare in the room. The whispers, the hushed conversations, the disapproval look from his mother. and the simmering jealousy in Amanda's eyes. But I refused to let it break me. Dike leaned in slightly. You're doing well, Adanna. I smiled, though my heart was still racing. I just have to survive the night, his fingers tightening around mine. No, not just survive, own it. Just then the music slowed to an end and the guests clapped politely. I stepped back, trying to steady my breath, when Amanda suddenly appeared beside us. What a lovely dance, she said, her red lips coiled into a smirk. Adanna, darling, you are full of surprises. I kept my expression neutral. Thank you, Amanda. She glanced at Chief Dike before turning back to me. You must be thirsty. Let me get you something. Before I could refuse, she waved over a waiter carrying a tray of champagne glasses. She took one and handed it to me. I hesitated. Something about the way she smiled sent warning bells through my mind. But if I refused, she would twist it into another insult. So I took the glass and lifted it to my lips. Just as I was about to take a sip, a hand snatched it away. Chief Dike. His eyes were sharp as he held the glass up, inspecting it. Then, without a word, he handed it back to the waiter. Amanda smiled, flattered. Dike, what are you doing? He stared at me, his voice low and dangerous. You tell me, Amanda. Her lips parted, as if to protest, but his mother suddenly appeared. Dike, she said, her tone calm but firm. Is something wrong? He turned to her, his jaw tight. Nothing I can't handle. Amanda forced a laugh. Oh, come on, Dike. It was just a drink. But I saw it. The flicker of unease in her eyes. She had tried something, and Chief Dike had caught her. I glanced at him, my heart swelling with gratitude. He wasn't just standing beside me, he was protecting me. Amanda gave me a final, sharp look before turning away. Dike leaned in, his voice barely above a whisper. From now on, be careful what you accept from her. I nodded, my pulse still racing. Tonight, I had survived, but the war was far from over, and Amanda had just made her next move. The tension in the ballroom was thick, but Amanda quickly masked her unease with a forced smile. Oh, Dike, she smiled lightly. You act as if I would ever harm your dear Adanna. Chief Dike jaw tightened. I don't trust you, Amanda. Not after everything I have seen. Amanda's eyes darkened for a split second, but she quickly recovered, turning to me with a pitying smile. Poor Adanna, you must feel so uncomfortable in a world like this. I met her gaze, my heart still pounding. I feel just fine. She smirked. We will see about that. Before I could respond, Chief Dike's mother stepped forward. Enough of this drama. We are at an event, not a marketplace. Her tone was sharp, dismissing the moment like it was nothing. But I knew the truth. Amanda had tried to humiliate me, or worse, and she had failed. But she wasn't done yet. Later that night, I sat in my room, replaying the night event in my head. The way Amanda had smirked, the way Chief Dike's mother had dismissed the situation, the way the guests had whispered, their eyes always watching me, waiting for me to fail. A knock on my door pulled me from my thoughts. Come in, I said hesitantly. Chief Dike stepped inside, his expression soft but concerned. Are you all right? I nodded, even though my heart was still heavy. I handled it. He sighed and sat beside me. You shouldn't have to handle this alone. I turned to him, my voice barely above a whisper. They will never accept me, will they? His hand found mine. His warmth grounded me. They don't have to. I accept you. I love you, Adanna. My breath caught in my throat. He had never said it so directly before. His eyes searched mine, waiting. I swallowed hard, then whispered, I love you too. A slow smile spread across his face. He lifted his hand to my lips, pressing a gentle kiss against my fingers. Then nothing else matters. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. Because outside this room, Amanda was planning her next move. And this war was far from over. The warmth of Chidike's hands around mine sent a shiver down my spine. His confession still echoed in my mind. I love you, Adanna. I had waited my whole life to hear these words. Yet deep inside, I knew love alone would not be enough to protect us from what was coming. Amanda wouldn't stop. His mother wouldn't stop. This battle was far from over. The next morning, I woke up to the soft ray of sunlight filtering through the heavy curtain. A gentle knock on my door made me sit up. Come in, I said, my voice still groped from sleep. A maid stepped inside, bowing slightly. Madam, Chief Dike requests your presence in the garden. The garden? I quickly freshened up and made my way outside. The air was crisp, the scent of fresh roses filling my senses. Then I saw him, Chief Dike, dressed in a crimson white shirt, standing beside a breakfast table set for two. A small smile crept onto my lips. What's all this? He pulled out a chair for me. I thought we deserved a peaceful morning, away from all the chaos. I sat down, my heart fluttering at his thoughtfulness. But before I could say anything, another voice interrupted. Well, isn't this romantic? My body tensed. Amanda. She strode towards us in a fitted sky blue gown. Her expression, the perfect blend of amusement and curiosity. Dike's jaw tightened. What do you want, Amanda? She laughed slightly. Oh, Dike. Must I always have an ulterior motive? He said nothing, his eyes cold. Amanda turned to me, her smile never reaching her eyes. Adanna, darling, I just wanted to let you know something important. I lifted my chin. And what is that? Her smile widened. Your past is about to catch up with you. My heart stopped. Dike frowned. What are you talking about? Amanda leaned closer, lowering her voice. Let's just say someone from Adanna's past is on their way here. And when they arrived, you must start seeing her very differently. I felt the blood drown from my face. Who? Who was coming? And what did Amanda know that I didn't? Before I could ask, she turned on her heels and walked away, her laughter ringing in my ears. Dike reached for my hand. Adanna, whatever it is, we will handle it together. But as my hands trembled in his, I wasn't so sure. Because for the first time since coming into this mansion, I realized I wasn't just fighting Amanda and his mother. I was fighting my past, and I had no idea what was coming next. Amanda's warmth haunted me the entire day. Someone from your past is coming. Who could it be? My stepmother? Sonia? Someone I had long forgotten? Chief Dike reassured me countless times, but my heart was restless. I knew Amanda too well. She would not speak without having a deadly plan in place. And whatever she was planning, it was meant to destroy me. Later that evening, I was in my room when I heard voices downstairs. The tension in them made my skin prickle. I slowly made my way down the grand staircase. As I reached the last step, I froze. A man stood in the middle of the room. I hadn't seen him in years. His clothes were simple, but his presence felt loud. His eyes had something unreadable. Pain, anger, regret. I wasn't sure, but I knew him. And the moment our eyes met, my world shifted. He took a step forward. Adanna, my lips trembling. Eric. The room went silent. Chief Dike's mother ached an eyebrow. Amanda, standing in the corner, was smiling in satisfaction. Chief Dike frowned, stepping protectively beside me. Who is this man? Eric's gaze never left mine. I couldn't breathe. He was someone I had tried to forget. Someone who had once meant everything to me. The first boy I had ever loved. And now, he was here. Why? Amanda's voice cut through the silence like a blade. Oh, darling. Adanna, you didn't tell us you had a past. Dike gripped on my hand tightly. Eric's eyes darkened as he spoke the words that sent chill down my spine. I've come to take back what belongs to me. My heart stopped. Dike's entire body tensed. Amanda smiled, and I realized this was the moment she had been waiting for. The room fell into complete silence. My heart pounding in my chest as I stared at Eric. I hadn't seen him in years. I had long buried our past, convinced that I would never have to face him again. But now here he was, and his words still rang in my ears. I've come to take back what belongs to me. Chief Dike's grip on my hand tightened, his body tensed, his jaw clenched. What are you talking about? His voice was dangerously calm. Eric's eyes never left mine. Adanna knew exactly what I mean. I swallowed hard. Eric, why are you here? Amanda let out a soft, amused laugh. Oh, darling, don't act as so innocent. You never told Dike about him. Did you? Dike turned to me, his eyes filled with confusion. Adanna, who is he? I opened my mouth, but no words came out. How could I explain Eric? How could I tell Dike about the boy I had once loved, the boy who had left me without a word? Eric took a step forward. I was her first love, the man she promised to marry. Gasps filled the room. I flinched. Amanda smiled in victory. Well, it seems our sweet Amanda isn't as innocent as she pretends to be. Dike's mother folded her arms. Adanna, is this true? I hesitated. It's complicated. Dike's voice was low. Dangerous. Explain. I took a shaky breath. Eric and I were childhood friends. We cared for each other, but one day he left without a word. I never saw him again. Eric jack tightened. I left for us, Adanna. I was trying to build a future so I could come back for you. My hands trembling. You never told me that. Amanda sighed dramatically. How tragedy. Two lost lovers, separated by fate. Then she turned to Dike, her eyes gleaming. Tell me, Dike, How does it feel knowing your fiancé was once his? DK's entire body tensed. He looked at me, searching my eyes for something. Doubt? Pain? I could see it all on his face. Eric took another step closer. I came back for you, Adanna. You don't belong in this world. You belong with me. Tears burned my eyes. Eric, it's too late. His expression hardened. Is it? DK finally spoke, his word like steel. Yes, because she is mine now. Eric's fist clenched. We will see about that. And with those words, I knew this was just the beginning. Eric's words lingered in the air like a heavy storm. We will see about that. I could feel Chief DK's grip tightened on my hand, his body stiff with unspoken anger. His eyes locked onto Eric, daring him to say another word. Amanda smirked, enjoying every second of the tension. DK's mother folded her arms. Well, Adanna, it seems we don't know anything about you. I swallowed hard. Eric has nothing to do with my life anymore. Eric took a step closer, his voice firm. That's not true, Adanna. You made a promise to me. DK's jaw clenched. Whatever she promised you is in the past. She's with me now. Eric let out a bitter laugh. With you. In a world where she doesn't belong. He continued, his voice softer now, filled with something that sounded like regret. Adanna, do you even recognize yourself anymore? Look at this place. This is not who you are. My throat tightened. He was wrong, wasn't he? I had fought to be here, to prove that I belong in DK's world. But Eric's words poked at something deep inside me. An old wound, a reminder of the girl I used to be. Amanda sighed dramatically. Oh, this is just too good. Adanna, tell us, who will you choose? Your past or your future? DK turned to me, his eyes searching mine. You don't have to answer that. I already know where you belong. Eric stepped forward. Do you? The room was suffocating with tension. My mind was spinning. Then DK's mother spoke. There is only one way to settle this. We all turned to her. Her gaze was sharp, calculating. Let Eric stay for a while. I gasped, what? DK's expression darkened. Absolutely not. Amanda's smile widened. Oh, I love this idea. DK's mother continued. If Adanna is truly meant for you, DK, then nothing will change that. Let her decide with time. Eric's lips coiled slightly. I accept. I turned to DK, panic rising in my chest. DK, He combed my face. His voice, a whisper only for me. I trust you, Adanna. Do you trust me? Tears burned in my eyes. Of course I do. He exhaled sharply, then turned back to his mother. Fine, he can stay. Amanda clapped her hands together, excitement flashing in her eyes. Oh, this is going to be fun. I felt my stomach drop. Eric was staying. Amanda was winning. And I was trapped between the man I loved and the man I once loved. This was no longer just a battle. This was war. The tension in the mansion was unbearable. Eric was staying. Amanda was making. Chief DK was furious but holding it for my sake. And I was trapped. Later that evening, I sat in my room. My hands clenched together. My thoughts were a well wide. Why had Eric come back? What did he want? Did he truly believe I still belonged to him? A soft knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. "Come in," I said hesitantly. The door opened, and to my surprise, it was Dike's mother. I quickly stood. "Good morning, ma." She walked in slowly, studying me. Then she spoke, her voice calm but firm. "Adanna, I allowed this because I want to see what you are truly made of." I frowned. "Ma?" She folded her arms. "This is your test. If your heart wavers, if you hesitate, then you are not the right woman for my son." I swallowed hard. My heart does not waver. Her expression didn't change. "We shall see." Without another word, she left, leaving me even more confused than before. Hi, besties. Thank you for going this journey with me. Please stay tuned for the final episode. Kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another story your way. Bye.